we're going to go through challenging rookies. And if you don't listen and take notes, you're going to end up like the theme of that song we were just listening to. You're going to be able to get up in the club, but you're not going to be able to pay your rent. I was just listening to the song, and I was listening to the lyrics, and that's got to be the funniest song I've ever heard. Right? People crank it out and are proud to get up in the club but not pay their rent. Take notes, listen attentively, not really to Shondel, you know. Shondel's got this thing down packed, but we're going to go through challenging rookies on a serious note, also overcoming objections. If you can learn how to present, there's 7 fundamentals really in Primerica. One of the two of the most important ones out of the 7 is overcoming objections and learning how to present. We're not doing anything on the presentation today, but we're definitely going over, in my opinion, something even more important, which is overcoming objections. You got to be able to give a fire presentation, but in the end, the ones that are going to, I'll leave you with this quote: 40% of people you present to are going to tell you no matter what you say. And 40% of people are going to tell you yes. Doesn't matter. You could mess up completely. And it's the 10% in between that are teeter-tattering back and forth that it takes your skill and ability to overcome their objection. That's going to move them in the right direction and will explode your business. So let's get it going.
All right. Awesome, guys. So thanks for getting on with us. We're going to start off with just talking about challenging rookies because right now our team has been moving very quickly with our new associates that we've brought in and helping them get new teammates. And so we just wanted to talk about some of the things that we're saying to our new teammates to help them kind of get moving a little quicker on the recruiting side of things. So I'm going to start it off and just talk about some of the what I call triggers to say during the fast start meeting. So first off, we always go through a compensation breakdown with the recruit. So and we've been starting to do that a little more recently, but as far as that goes, typically we have an equation where we go through with our recruit saying, hey, if you want to make money here, you always have to remember that this is business. Nothing should be emotional. You shouldn't ever get frustrated if you're not making money, because everything here is like a formula. So if you want to make a certain amount of money, you have to get clients. If you want to get clients, you have to actually complete appointments. If you want to complete the appointments, you first off have to set the appointment. So we go through a progression of that and then kind of help them see a calculation in their mind. So okay, if a rep is at 25%, they make $250 per client, and they want to make $1,000 in a month, that means they need to see 4 clients. Okay, great. Just because we see a client and do a presentation doesn't mean that all of those people are going to move forward. So then we bring up the 50% rule. You have to remember this, Mr. and Mrs. Recruit. 50% rule means you need to set double the amount or complete double the amount of appointments in order to get your 4 clients. So if you need 4 clients, you need to complete 8 appointments. And then in order to complete those 8 appointments, things happen in life all the time. So you think about like if people are married or have kids right now, I mean, they're dealing with virtual learning, things come up, kids get sick, they get stuck late at work, their Zoom meeting takes too long, and now they can't meet. So just because we need to do 8, we can't only set 8. So we need to set 16. So then now we have this whole breakdown of what they need to do in order to get to that. And I say, hey, well, think about it. That's not a lot. That's through the course of an entire month. So if you break it down weekly now, you just have to set 4 appointments every single week. Focus on that. Make sure you get 2 of them done and make sure you get your 1 client a week. That's $250 a week, $1,000 a month. So when you look at that, you start talking about the breakdown, and then I usually will say, well, hey, you have 2 options to increase this. Number one, the obvious option is to set more appointments. Very obvious. The second option is you can get promoted. So then the next question, obviously, that comes up, well, Shondel, how do I get promoted then? Oh, great, good question. So the only way for you to get promoted is to actually have a team. You need to get promoted and get to what we call district leader. So then I show them a quick snapshot of the promotion guidelines and then say, you got to get promoted. In order to get promoted, though, you need to have 3 teammates. So then I say, okay, great. Well, why is it beneficial to have a team? And I have a little breakdown just showing kind of similar to what Shaq has in his original interview slides, where you have an agent and then, a broker and agents. So then I just break down, okay, hey, if this is how much money you make and you have a team, we explain overrides and let them understand, hey, if you have a licensed team and they go out and help a client, you can make money. If they're at 25% contract, they each make $250, and you have 3 agents and you're at a 50% contract, that could be $750 in overrides in one night. So you make $500, you go out and help a client yourself, your teammates go out and help a client, you can make $1,200 in a night. Can you do that at your job? No. Okay. So here, I'm not going to force you to recruit. Trust me, you don't have to. But would you rather do this by yourself, just make $500 per client on your own by yourself? Or would you rather have a team and now make thousands of dollars in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days? And then everybody says, have a team. So now you're planting the right seeds and they're like, oh man, I got to build a team. I got to build a team, right? So the next area where we're talking to people about getting to move fast with recruits is their fast start bonus. So I say, okay, hey guys, that's all the compensation once you're licensed and getting promoted. But before that, you got to take advantage of this bonus. So you explain the bonus, how it works. And then I just challenge people and give people examples. Like right now, obviously we have a very, very accurate example to be talking about. I do, and I know Josh has, I have Cardney, and then Josh has Jamar on his team to talk about how quickly they were moving. So I say, hey, well, we have a young lady on our team. She got started on a Monday. We did our fast start meeting like we're doing right now with you on Tuesday. I reached out to some people for her, and the next day she had 4 teammates. Within a week, within not even a week, 5 days, she had 5 teammates, right? So if I help her get 5,000 or in premium and 5 clients, now she has a $1,500 bonus already within her first week. And as soon as she passes her exam, she'll get that money. And then people are like, oh, wow, it can move fast like that. And then they start thinking, guys. So you have to plant the right seeds. If you don't have an example that you can use a name or a teammate that's done it yet, then just say, hey, are you competitive? Set a standard in your team so people can start to compete. And then obviously we're going to ask if they're competitive, if they want to break records. I don't even know if this is the record on our team, to be honest, but I just tell the recruit, hey, the fast start training bonus on our team is 7x7, but I challenge everybody to do 10x10, but the record's 7x7,000. So that's a $2,100 bonus when you pass your exam. And you just set the right standards and the mindset. So they're starting to think about it. But a lot of this is it's still recruiting focused to get them to understand why we need to start talking to other people. So those are some of the things that I say during my fast start meetings. Josh right now is going to go over some of the conversations that he has as well, or just maybe a little bit more of the mindset behind why you should be recruiting or moving quickly.
Yeah, so the first thing is, all of them are really questions. There's a phrase out there that the quality of the questions that you ask will determine the quality of the answers that you get. So people sometimes get lost in business because they're asking themselves really poor questions, like, why can't I figure it out? Why me? What is it that I keep doing wrong? Instead of what can I do better? What is the top person doing to solve this challenge I'm seeing? Those are better questions that will bring forth better answers to yourself And if you do it with yourself, you can do it with, you should do it with others, because you'll train folks to ask themselves the right questions, even when you're not with them. Like, do you want to grow by addition or by multiplication? This is all piggybacking off of what you guys just heard. If you heard the way that Shondel, it was a sequence. It was not out of order. It's all sequential. And you want to do exactly what she did in the order that she did it, so that it's like a combination to a locker, and it actually unlocks their potential. It's got to go in that sequence. So a question I'll ask is, are you competitive? Right? That's the first one. And if the answer's, if they're a little hesitant, even a little hesitant, probably not going to take any future answers as serious, at face value. But if someone says, I'm competitive, yes. Did you play sports growing up? What sport? How did you feel when you lost? It's questions like these that allow me to get to know the new recruit. And I want to ask, are you a record breaker? If you knew that in your sport, when you played football, was there like in the weight room, was there records on squats and bench press and the 40-yard dash? Were you cognizant of that? Were you trying to beat that? Well, that's exactly how we do things here. We're highly competitive in our office. We demand excellence. And when it comes to building your team, do you want to grow by addition, onesie, twosies, or do you want to grow by multiplication? You told me that that you'd like to break records. Well, see, the record in our office or on our team is 8 recruits in 11 days. 8 recruits in 11 days. We have a potential to double that in the same time. And if we do, that would be growing by multiplication. You could have a team of 10 people or more within less than 2 weeks. Shondel went through the example, and it's just a review of the broker slides, being a broker or being an agent, and why it's advantageous to be a broker as opposed to an agent is passive income versus active income. I mean, you get active income at your job right now, and it sucks. It sucks to be squeezed and leveraged out of your time and energy for less money than you deserve. So if we could teach you how to earn some passive income, which would you prefer? If they say passive income, they're telling you, I want to build a team. And they're buying into it in their minds as well. Big bonus or little bonus? Because in Primerica, the corporation, just like McDonald's Corporation knows the more locations we have, the more we dominate. Burger King, Chick-fil-A, Wendy's, right? The more locations we have. The difference between, and Primerica knows the same thing McDonald's knows, the difference between the two is that Primerica has incentivized their brokers and junior brokers to go out and help other people grow very large teams to potentially start another location of their own. Because if Primerica can get somebody that's already got their own location to help somebody else open a location and have nothing to do with it, that's better for Primerica, the corporation. So what that entails is starting early on, creating, inundating the philosophy of building a big team and building a client base. And it's both. It's not one or the other, it's both. So if you can, increase the size of your team and your client base, you'll get a massive bonus. But if you don't, you'll get a little one. Which one would you prefer? And these are just the conversations that I'm having with a brand new recruit, during the orientation.
Awesome, guys. So just take notes. Hopefully you guys took notes on what the conversations that we were having, because that's it. It's just having the conversation. If you don't have the conversation, you're not going to get any of those results. You just go through it. Hey guys, you just got to get teammates. You got to get sales. Everybody automatically focuses on making money. Oh my God, I got to bring in clients. Usually most people are not focused on recruiting right away when they're a brand new teammate. They want to know how to make money. What do I do to make money? How am I going to convince these people so I can get a sale, so on and so forth? What do I have to learn? People focus on that. But if you want to have a business, you got to have the right recruiting conversations when you're going through the fast start meeting with them. So I did want to mention something, because I know we titled our group Inviting, and we didn't talk anything about inviting. We talked a lot about the conversations to challenge the new recruit. But as far as what we're doing for inviting, we haven't changed that at all. It's the same 3-way text message, and we actually challenge people there too. Hopefully you guys are doing that as well, but we still go through the process, get their list, 4-minute name game, all of that good stuff. And then we say, okay, hey, send out as many messages. We've had people on our team send out 40 messages, 20 whatever your record is, challenge them and see if they can send them, and make sure they send them right then and there. Or if they don't, send them a message once you finish the meeting. Hey, I didn't get your text messages. I thought you were going to send out your 10 or your 20 or whatever the case may be. So constantly be challenging your recruits, guys. They don't have an expectation. You have to set the expectation. So we're going to get into objections now. So we're going to go through pretty much everything we kind of know about objections, the philosophy at the beginning, and then we're going to go over specific scenarios. Josh and I will be hitting on both of those for you guys. So first thing, Josh is going to go through why objections are a good thing.
I love confrontation, guys. I love it. Nothing's better. I know Donald can relate. That's how we, you know what I'm saying? My family's from the Bronx, New York. Anyways, it's not about confrontation. I'm just kidding. Objections are really a great thing, because it really shows that somebody is interested. I heard Grant Cardone, who's a really large real estate guy, say that not interested is a form of interest. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. But it's just he's so big on marketing and gaining attention that he feels that when someone says no, I'm not interested, is a form of interest, because that just means no, not right now, because he's gonna follow up, he's gonna follow up. And I said, wow, if no, I'm not interested is it equals a form of interest, then when someone just throws a regular simple objection at you, that's minuscule. That's nothing. An objection is a request for more information. That's it. We're going to go through a couple objections, but an objection is like a pause, like a stoplight, right? I mean, a stop sign. It's a stop sign in the road. That's how I view it. If I have to pause the sequence that Shondel just went through, if we're going from brand spanking new, I just recruited you, all the way to we're finally about to do a training appointment right now with your aunt, from that point to that point, any pauses or stop signs, that's an objection. And your ability to get the car back to moving after we hit the stop sign will dictate your success. People wouldn't be asking you if they weren't interested. Wait a second, but how do I get clients? But how do I get my clients? Stop sign, objection. Wait a second, but how do I get promoted? right? I don't know if that I wouldn't say that's like an objection, but like why do I have to recruit? You know, once you say, well, you got to recruit to get promoted, but why do I have to recruit? That's a minor objection right there, right? And there's different variations of that, but they wouldn't be asking you that if they weren't interested. And pros look for objections because it leads to the close. People that don't ask you objections and are just listening, not very attentively, they're not paying attention to you. So you're really wasting your breath, your energy. So pros look for the objections instead of avoiding the objections. Let's get into some of them. So we've got 2 don'ts and 1 do. The first thing you do not want to do is don't argue. And, you know, I was being, you know, sarcastic earlier when I said I love confrontation, but at the same time, kind of not, right? You know, when you come from a sports background, especially football, you know, confrontation is welcomed. And I had to learn early on when I was 18 and 19 and 20 that if someone is kind of giving you the opposite view of how things are supposed to be, that's not your time to blast them and get loud or just go back and forth, because that's just not what a pro does. It doesn't actually grant any solutions and success for the new recruit either. Anger and sarcasm create close, killing heat and pressure. Quite often, the recruiter succeeds in winning the argument, aka the battle, and thereby loses all chance of getting the recruit started, aka the war. So you might win the battle and lose the war. It's like arguing with your woman. You might win an argument, but in the end you always lose. Right? So don't argue. It just doesn't lead to anything. And they begin to trust you less and less and less. The second is don't attack them when you overcome their objections. Be welcoming. Like let them know that everyone has similar objections to the one that you just said, and that's quite all right. Let's go through them. Just be warm and agreeable, because when you're like, how stupid is that? Are you kidding me? What, who asks questions like these? You know, like just unpleasant responses, people won't want to work with you. So what you got to do is put space between your new recruits and their objections, or just regular prospects and their objections. Just be agreeable. You know, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, one of my directs this month, she works 6 days a week and has kids, but she hates what she does, working at Sprint, talking about phones all day. And she, you know, like any normal human being, got overwhelmed at the idea. This is, by the way, why you don't wait more than 24 to 48 hours to do an orientation, because the fears start to fester. What if I can't do it? Blah, blah, blah. And she gets overwhelmed, but it's not Primerica's fault. It's the job's fault. But when she brought that up to me, I didn't blast her. She was like, I don't know if I could do this. I don't see where I'm going to have time. All objections. I didn't say, are you kidding me? Look at your job. Look what's going on around you. You're getting $17 an hour for this nonsense. You know, that is what I just did just now. That's an example of attacking them, right? Never allow the prospect to feel that they're in danger of being proven wrong. If you start fighting how they feel, negative emotions always take over. You can't win the logical battles at the cost of losing emotional ones. Hey, I got to give Shondel all the credit because she wrote this, and this is just gold. It's like I'm reading a book, like a New York Times best-selling book here. People move forward on emotion, then justify their decision logically. Same thing with at the QA, you know. Therefore, the best way, in my opinion, that I could sum that up to not attack somebody is just keep asking them questions. Ask questions back to them that get them to answer in the way that you know they should answer. And the one do is lead them to answer their own objections. Oh, wait, there it is. That's kind of what I just said. Yeah. So if you can maneuver them to answering their own objections, then it's easier to overcome. Why is it easier to overcome? Because there's no argument there. They answered their own objection. I don't have kids, but I feel as though that's going to be the best way to do that as well. Get them to, that's what Bruce said, isn't it? And that's what Bruce said he used to do with his daughters growing up. He get them to answer their own objection or question or concern. When they say it, it's true. But when you say it, they tend to doubt it. These are the two don'ts and one big do of overcoming objections. And I swear, if you follow suit with these three things here, overcoming objections is going to be, now you got to know your product, you got to know your opportunity, like you got to have the knowledge behind it, but this is the how to, the sequence here.
All right, so now guys, I'm gonna go over something that Tom Hopkins talks about. He says that there's 6 steps to overcoming an objection. And so these are, is pretty cool because like, I don't know, when I started and probably like years ago, we used to go over Tom Hopkins stuff over and over and over. He basically is like one of the best guy in sales. And so with that, he had this like funny little picture to help you remember the 6 steps to going through an objection. Because sometimes people hear an objection and they're like, oh, I just got to tell them the answer and then move on. No, there's a lot of there's little steps on the way to getting to the right answer and then moving forward. So Josh and I have internalized this. So when we go through the actual answers that we give, usually we go through these steps first and then get to the answer once an objection comes up. So first couple things is you want to hear them out. So when a prospect feels interrupted, he or she feels pushed and uneasy, you could also be answering the wrong question. So if you just jump in before you let them finish, that might not even be the real objection. They may say, oh yeah, I don't know if I have much time, and then you start answering time. That might not be it. They might say, I don't have much time, but I'm really nervous about commission. And now you're answering the wrong objection. So you want to hear them out. Then you feed it back to them. That's one of the best techniques for getting them to answer their own objection. So, hey, Josh, I just wanted to make sure, like, what you're saying is that you don't have enough time right now in your schedule. And that's what I mean by feeding it back. And then they kind of they confirm, and then you question the importance. So you ask them to elaborate on the objection, avoid any hint of sarcasm or impatience. So if Josh says time and I also ask back, okay, hey, well, I just want to clarify, you're just saying that you don't have enough time in your schedule right now. Okay, well, I mean, is it because of the kids or schoolwork? And then just kind of have them elaborate a little bit more on it so we can get down to how important that actually is. Because if they don't say anything else back, then it might not even be that important. They might just be throwing it out. like automatic. So when we go shopping, well, I mean, now it's kind of weird because of COVID, but like when we used to go to the malls and you'd walk through and they have all those people in the middle of the mall, and they're always like walking by, and you're walking by and they're like, hey, let me straighten your hair. Hey, try this